Welcome to the Nehemiah Entrepreneurship Community Podcast. I'm your host, Patrice Tsague. I am here with Debra Schlaht and Wendie Klem. We're going to talk about the upcoming Northwest Center graduation. Well, ladies, first of all, welcome back to the podcast.
Well, thank you, Patrice. It's great to be back. It's been a while.
It sure has. It's good to be here.
Awesome. Good to have you both. Well, so the question that people may be wondering, what's so special about this graduation? So we've made a few adjustments with at least with the Northwest Center, and something that we might see other centers also apply, where essentially what we're now twice a year, we have a graduation event, an opportunity where those who are going through self-paced courses or live courses get a chance to graduate at that time. Similar model that we do for our trainer and coach certification. And so no matter what program you're taking, what classes, twice a year, if you're part of the Northwest Center, twice a year, we graduate everybody at one time. And the idea then is that you can now plan when you might want to finish. Now, for those of you who may be going through the program so that you can be part of the competition, International Business Plan Competition, this is the key moments to keep in mind, because you want to make sure that you complete at the right timing so you can be part of the graduation or the competition, those who are doing biblical entrepreneurship at the right time. So that we don't want to assume that everybody understands exactly kind of what our program is, what our training is. I'm going to turn to you as a director of training and coaching, kind of tell them, what our trainings are and what are the different products we might have. And then we're going to kind of get into them in a little bit detail. So tell them a bit about what are some of the products they might experience in our training programs.
Well, Patrice, so we have a great lineup of outstanding curriculum that affects our entrepreneurs, our biblical entrepreneurs at every stage of their business. So we honor our students through our Identity and Destiny course, which really helps them to identify God's calling on their lives and what the assignments are, a deep dive into our divine design. We also, I know we're going to be talking more about some of these are nothing but a jar of oil, the stewardship of what God has given to us, and how do we have financial freedom so that we can plan and be able to grow our businesses towards that. We also are looking at our passive income, the continuum. How do I create passive income? But of course, our flagship course is biblical entrepreneurship. We have a 3-step process that our entrepreneurs go through as they understand the principles of biblical entrepreneurship. What are the practical application of God's word in their business, and then the planning of a kingdom business so that they can honor God with all that they do. So many of our courses some of them are in a classroom, whether it's virtual or it's in a live with other students around, or even self-paced. And that's what I really like. We can customize our delivery to our students in any fashion that best fits them.
I love it. So I love kind of the journey and the fact that we've kind of got something for everybody. And so my question then, if somebody's watching and listening, they're saying, hey, is there a sequence to these courses? Is there an obligatory sequence or recommended sequence if I'm considering taking these classes? What would you say?
Well, nothing that's obligatory. We don't say you have to do one before you can do the other. It really is where you're at in the journey. I think most of us would recommend starting with Identity and Destiny. It's really that grounding of, as I said earlier, your divine design and how will you use it? How does God want to use your business idea? But we have many people that want to start with biblical entrepreneurship. That's the place that they feel most called to. They may have an idea or they've been in business for a while, and now they can join in and begin to build that kingdom business where they can integrate their faith within their business each and every day.
Awesome. So again, if you're watching and listening to this podcast, you want to join us on March the 23rd, March the 7th.
March 7th. Yes.
March the 7th. We're doing the graduation and for those who complete book entrepreneurship, business plan competition. So, Wendie, you are training a coach other than being director of operations. So you've got students who you walk through this process. Talk to us a bit about the experience that students might expect, entrepreneurs might expect, as they go through any of these programs, as you've helped people walk through it. Hello, Wendie, are you with us?
Sorry about that, Patrice. My Wi-Fi, we've got storms here where I'm at. What was your question?
Got it. Yeah, my question was, how's the experience for an entrepreneur in going through these programs? You're a trainer and a coach, and you've walked entrepreneur through some of these courses. What can they expect, or what's the experience like in going through whether it's a self-paced or a live class?
Well, there's a couple of things that come to mind, Patrice, as I've been working with entrepreneurs. The first thing is we meet them right where they're at, right? Depending on where they're at in the journey. We talk about our business life cycle. So if they're in the discovery, the entrepreneurs, if they're at that stage, starting with identity and destiny and walking through that course with a coach, really one-on-one, kind of accountability, and also just kind of some additional support as they're going through that. Those entrepreneurs who are in startup or getting ready to working through break even and to profitability, they are the biblical entrepreneurships taking that step. The self-paced, those entrepreneurs, I have some that are going through that very quickly. They're very motivated. They've set the time aside, and they know that this is going to change their business. They know that this is going to help them go to that next step. And through that course, the one thing that stands out for me is the financials. We have a very extensive financial forecast template that really helps them think through, am I profitable? What is my profit margin? What does my next year or 5 years look like? What can I expect? And, it's interesting how I found my coaching clients, when they start looking at that, they're like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm charging this and it's costing me this, whether it's in time or my my cost of goods. That has been one of the biggest eye openers for those entrepreneurs that I have found. But I know the ones that I'm working with the self-paced programs, they do like being able to go at their own pace. If they need to take a little extra time in some areas, go a little quicker in others. Experience of
I think we're losing Wendie a bit, giving to the storm down where she is. So what I like about what Wendie pointed out, Debra, is kind of the different, what I call, kind of outcomes that may happen, whether they based on which program they take. Let's kind of break them down each. Again, we're talking about the upcoming Northwest Center graduation on March the 7th. If you want to be a part of that, team, put a link here on the chat here, or on the kind of what's that thing called, on the
so the scroll.
on the scroll, so that people know where to go. You want to go to nehemiahecommunity.com, and there you can kind of go to the event page. You can find out and sign up for the graduation, so you can attend. It allows you to experience, kind of hear what the experience is for those entrepreneurs who go through the program and what it might be experienced. So, Debra, let's kind of break them up one by one. Let's first start with kind of identity and destiny. You kind of recommended that. That's a great place to start, right? So I'm going through identity and destiny. So first of all, what are the kind of folks that may want to go through it? In other words, what's the need that would let me to want to go through it, and what's the outcome that I might experience if I go through identity and destiny?
Well, Patrice, we have a couple of different ways, people that are attracted to this program. Some of those who are asking the question, why am I here? What does God want from me? What am I supposed to be doing here? And they may be on a search, a journey for that. They may have gone through a life transition. Maybe it's empty nest syndrome. I know you and Gina are looking at that. Your daughters have left. What's next? What's the next steps? It may be a retirement or a death in the family, and they're just not sure what the next thing may happen for them. And so they're searching and wanting to hear what God has to say to them. Now, others may have, a very robust relationship with Jesus, and this is another way to look at at how He's created them and what the purpose is. I asked this last week. I asked one of our students about what the experience had been for her. 3 years later, was this still an important aspect? Gaining some insights from this. And she said, absolutely every day I think about what my purpose is when I get up in the morning. I think about my identity and destiny statement and how my assignment fulfills that. And when I run into some challenges or, I'm not sure, I pull out my workbook and I look at it, the things that I wrote down as confirmation. But here's the best part, Patrice. She told me her daughter went through this with her. Mother and daughter went through the class together. And she said, I asked my daughter said, immediately, I know what I learned is that how I can listen to God rather than talking to Him.
Oh, wow.
What a powerful statement that is. Being able to hear God, what His direction is, the assignment that He has for us, so that we go with purpose and confidence. We call it Godfidence. The Godfidence in the direction that we're going is the one that He wants us to do. We know that when we make decisions based upon who we are, what we're to accomplish for Him, and the current assignment that He has us into. It is 7 steps. It's very powerful, and God continues to work through us even years later.
Oh, I love it. Listen, if you've not yet and God taken advantage of identity and destiny, you want to do that now. Just go to our website, nehemiahecommunity.com, or find an e-community center near you and be a part of it. You can do it as a self-paced or a live course. So many will be graduating who are part of Identity and Destiny. They'll be completing they'll have their purpose mosaic, which is kind of the final deliverable that they produce, which gives them a profile. It's kind of like who you are documented on paper, right? So
it is, Patrice. It's one that we use. I don't know about you, but I've got not only one put on my wall, but I also have it within my calendar. It is a reminder every day
of who you are. So check the Identity and Destiny. So next, you talked about the passive income courses. You are actually completing that yourself. Nothing but a Java and passive income continuum. So from your experience, now give some of the from your experience, how was it for you as going through it as a student, later on to being a trainer for it?
Well, really, the 7 steps to freedom, Patrice, of nothing but a jar of oil, I really saw as a second step after identity and destiny. Now that I know who I am and what God wants me to do, now how do I use the resources that He's given to me to steward? And how do I do it in such a way that honors Him? That I am ensuring that I'm not in debt because I'm consuming, but maybe I have debt because I'm producing. That there is a way for me to use those resources, my not only the active income that I'm making, but also how do I look at creating passive income that continues to work for me and support me as well. Everything from developing a budget to understanding what the opportunities are and the options. What do we have in our hand? I love the story of the widow. I have nothing but a jar of oil. Many of us say, well, I don't have anything. Well, we do. We are supplied with endless gifts and talents and other resources that God has given to us to use. What do we have with our assets that we currently are, what many people would call an asset that we have right now? And how do we use them so that we can glorify God, help other people, and yet continue to support ourselves. As you know, 7 steps, Patrice, but I'm on fire for this class. And I think that it's a great next step.
I love it. So there are many who will be checking that off, both the passive income continuum as well as nothing but a jar of oil. If you want to be a part of those classes so you can graduate at the next graduation, again, visit our website, nehemiahecommunity.com. nehemiahecommunity.com. You can learn more about these courses and take advantage of it. Now let's talk about the kind of the Cadillac program, which is biblical entrepreneurship. So Wendie, you were saying before you were cut off there by the weather. So I'm kind of listening and watching this. I'm saying, okay, I want to know more about biblical entrepreneurship. What does that look like? What can I expect if I was to enroll through it? What would the people graduating would have accomplished?
Well, Patrice, one of the most important things is to have a plan, right? You can't get where you want to go if you don't have a plan. You don't even get in the car, right? You don't even, take a trip without having GPS and having a plan of where you're going to go. And I think at the end of the day, that's the most important thing that our one of the most important things that our biblical entrepreneurs get is the plan. Now I have a plan to work. Debra had talked about that, incorporating their faith. Part of the plan of biblical entrepreneurship is, how do I incorporate that? How do I stay within my faith in running my business and growing my business? How do I do that using biblical principles? I was an entrepreneur, and I did business, like many of us, the secular way, right? I went to church and I had my values, but how do I put them with the business? That was always a bit of a challenge, right? And, where is my line in the sand? And once I went through biblical entrepreneurship, I realized exactly how to bring the two together. I also, I think that as the entrepreneurs are putting their plan together, then they have something that will be those guardrails for them. If my goal is to create a business that creates this kind of impact and affects these people and with these core values, I work with my entrepreneurs. I tell them, pull that out every week. You need to pull your plan and go through it at least once a week. Look at it, scroll through it. It's not, 15, 20, 30 slides, right? Our summary business plan. Go through that and look at it. Make sure you're still in alignment with that. You've not gone off track. Because as you go through and think through, what is my marketing strategy? What is my growth strategy? What kind of leader do I want to be? What kind of profits do I want to have, and what percentage of growth? By being able to go back and look at that every week, it helps us stay on track. We just finished our deep dive, right? Every month we, as a team, we look at where we're going. It's the same thing. We don't want to wait till the end of the year and go, oops, we didn't quite make it. We were, if I'd have known this 6 months ago, I could have pivoted, or we could have done something. But this allows them to stay on track, and then they don't have to do it alone. That's the other piece. As a biblical entrepreneur, part of our e-community, those who are taking our biblical entrepreneurship courses, they're part of the e-community, and surrounding themselves with other entrepreneurs that think like they do business like they do, that they can do business with. Patrice, I think that's one of the most powerful things. It's the one thing that 6 or 7 years ago I really wish I had.
I love it. So far I've got my identity and destiny, so I know who I am. I've got my personal budget together. I know what God has gifted me with and how I'm called to steward over it. And now I've got my pitch deck or my business plan with financial forecast. I'm ready now to grow or expand my business. So as we prepare to kind of land the plane, so as we prepare to graduate next week, so give me a bit, Wendie, of one or two entrepreneurs either that be graduating next week or that have gone through any one of these programs. Debra mentioned someone about Identity and Destiny, the impact it's had on them. Any stories you have of anyone who either preparing to graduate or who have graduated before, and how whether biblical entrepreneurship, passive income continuum, non-job or IND, and how they've been impacted as a result.
Well, Patrice, I had one of my clients when she first started. She was kind of all over the place. You know, she's got many gifts and skills, and she's got lots and lots of ideas and a lot of passion. And, you know, over the course of going through Identity and Destiny, she really understood. At that point, she really got it. I know what God has called me to do. But the growth that I have seen in her in 1 year is astounding. It is nothing but astounding. You know, every month when we come together in our coaching, you know, we would review, we would put together some assignments and some tasks, and she stayed to it. One of the things that she did is, you know, we talked about marketing and sales, right? How do I build my pipeline? So we gave her a task, you know, make this many calls every single day. Her main goal when she started is she wanted to get out of debt. Well, in a year, she's been working towards that. Right now, she's a realtor. She's working and focusing on working with middle class, and within the next 3 months, she is probably going to be debt free and pay off her credit cards.
Wow.
I mean, it has just been amazing. And I was reviewing her video of her pitch deck earlier today, and she's got such a passion, but what she has accomplished in that 1 year took her idea to she is actually profitable right now. And now she's getting ready to start actually fulfilling the things that she wanted to do that she did not expect to be able to get to for another year and a half. So it's incredible.
Wow.
I'm really proud of her.
Incredible story. Listen, you can have the same experience. You know, if you've not yet gone through these programs, you can enroll right now. Go to nehemiahecommunity.com, sign up so you can be a part of the upcoming next graduation. Again, if you want to join us and help celebrate with us, these entrepreneurs who are graduating, go to our events page and sign up so you can join us and you can experience what it looks like to actually finish. You know, I often make this statement: many entrepreneurs are great starters, but make poor finishers, right? These graduations are a great milestone. They're celebratory, an opportunity for us to pray for you as well. And as we release you into the marketplace or into that next season, because, you know, there's when you before the class and after the class, and the impact that it has on your life and your business. So, Debra, for those who are watching and listening, say, okay, I'm going to sign up for next year. I want to be there, check it out. What can they expect?
Well, Patrice, you know, one of my favorite things is our competitions. And this center competition is no less exciting to see what the students have developed in their businesses. So the first half will be about the entrepreneurs who want to compete towards becoming a representative at our International Business Plan competition in August. So the winner of this competition from the Northwest Center will match up with the winner from the Orlando Center to represent North America this year. And that North America representative will meet others from Europe, Africa, Asia, Latin America, and compete towards prizes. So it has a lot of impact. But it's also about recognizing, as Wendy just said, the hard work, the milestones, understanding how God's hand is upon every aspect of our life. And how do we represent that in the marketplace in a way that pleases him. So that's part of it. Then we're going to have the second half is going to be about graduation. And we will recognize and honor with certificates our creed, our biblical entrepreneurship creed that really is a statement of what we believe in and who we are as marketplace leaders for God. And for our biblical entrepreneurship, we'll also honor those that have graduated from Nothing But a Jar of Oil, who've graduated from the Continuum, Passive Income Continuum class, as well as Identity and Destiny. And really, Patrice, this idea is so important. We honor each of those graduates. They all have a story to tell. They have a way of how God's working in their life and the difference that he's making, and that they open themselves up to hear what he had to say, no matter what their experiences may be. It is a celebration, but it is also just a way for us to praise God for the work that he's done.
Oh, I love it. You make me want to come. This is exciting. Listen, sign up. This will be on March the 7th. What time, Deborah?
We start at, and Pacific time is, I believe, 1 p.m.
1 p.m. Pacific time. Come and help us to celebrate these entrepreneurs who are completing, some of them Identity and Destiny, some of them the Nothing But a Jar of Oil, Passive Income Continuum. Some are even completing more than one course, and some of them biblical entrepreneurship, and come experience what it looks like to have a business plan competition. Before we leave, before I release you guys, I do want you to give a word of advice to our listeners. Right. And before we do, guys, if you enjoy this podcast and you know entrepreneurs or people in your family or your community, you're saying you need to check these programs out, right? Share this podcast with them, put on your social media, share with them so that they might be able to know more, so they can experience some of these courses. Friends, share with friends that which is helpful to them. Right? Don't just share all the gossip. Don't just share the bad stuff. Share the good stuff. This is good stuff. Something that would edify, encourage, and equip your friends as well as members of your community. But if you want to know more, visit us at NehemiahEcommunity.com, NehemiahEcommunity.com. There you'll learn about our training program, all the program we talked about, biblical entrepreneurship, Nothing But a Jar of Oil, Identity and Destiny, Passive Income Continuum, and many others. You learn about our coaching program, whether it's one-on-one coaching, group coaching. You'll learn about our Access to Capital program, how you can get financing to help grow and expand your business. You also will learn about how to become a member of the Nehemiah Entrepreneurship Community, where you are able to connect with other entrepreneurs from all over the world, Asia, Africa, Europe, Latin America, and North America, and connect, do business together, pray together, have life together as we all seek to build kingdom companies. So join us and let's work together to transform the world. Remember, membership does have its privileges. With that, so let me start with you, Deborah. So somebody's watching and listening right now, and they're saying, you know what, let's kind of talk about, maybe I'm at discovery and start at that phase of my business development. What advice, and right now because of inflation, right now because of the war in Ukraine, right now because of just the dynamic of the first quarter of the year, I'm sluggish trying to figure out how to kind of get it going. What advice would you give them?
Well, Patrice, there is a lot of uncertainty in the world. And so there's two things I would encourage someone to do. The first is to, if you're not sure where you should start or what you should do, take our free needs assessment. That will get you connected up with one of our trainers or coaches, Wendie or myself, even you, Patrice, and talk about what your situation is. And we can give you some personalized information and direction, what we think would be good for you. And I think along with that, Patrice, become part of our e-community, even at a bronze level, which is free. Check us out and join in a life group. If nothing else, be edified by what's going on with other entrepreneurs coming together, hearing their encouragement, their challenges, seeing God's hand in their lives. Those are the three things that I would recommend right off the bat, Patrice, is a good way to get started, get to know us.
Awesome. Wendie, I'm a little more advanced. My business is profitable. I'm trying to grow and expand, but I'm facing, again, this uncertainty of the marketplace. What advice would you give me?
The best advice I can give you, Patrice, is don't do it alone. Because mistakes can be very costly. So working with a coach, using best practices, using biblical principles, and understanding that, is going to save you not only money, gray hairs maybe, some stress, but don't do it alone. That was one of the things that I've always regretted earlier in my career, is not having that coach that would help keep me focused on the main thing. So often when, as I say, when the world's kind of going into a hot mess, I get overwhelmed, and then I'm not always focusing on the main thing. I get distracted. And so not going this alone, working with a coach, being part of the community, Patrice, I think is going to be the biggest benefit for them.
You heard it here, guys. Don't go out alone. Become a part of a community. By the way, Debra talked about there's some free assessments you can be a part of. You can engage and begin your journey at no cost to you, so that you don't have to be at it alone. Ladies, thank you so much. Looking forward to being with you ladies next week as we celebrate this first graduation of 2023. And for those who want to join us again, visit us at nehemiahecommunity.com. Go to the events page, and then right there you can sign up and register and be a part and joining us next week. Well, let me pray for you all. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord enable you to steward those talents that are under his care. And may he allow you to do it in such a way that one day you can hear those wonderful words, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few things." Guess what? He'll not make you rule over much. God bless you. Have a great day and a wonderful rest of the week. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Patrice.
Thank you.